Here is the 2025 Kia K4 in Aurora Black over gray interior. This replaces the Forte, nearly 3 inches longer, almost an inch more in wheelbase. Same power options, and this year they have changed the configuration, so when you go into the base trims, there's 3 tiers. Go into the GT line, there's 2. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons. I'm going to compare it to the competition and the problem that I have with the new K4, starting with standard LED headlights and daytime runnings. Going into the GT line and GT Turbo, this is going to have cubed lighting in the front, so you'll have a difference between the front fascia as well as the grille pattern. The LX and LXS front grille will have a black with a metal paint, and the EX will have gloss black with chrome surrounding it, so it'll look a little bit more sporty opposed to Honda and Toyota. But even on a base trim, and this is the middle tier because it's the LXS, I think they do a good job polishing it off, giving you an extra bit of width and making it feel a little bit more sporty on the exterior. Housed underneath the hood is going to be a carryover, so it's a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder that produces 147 horsepower with 132 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an IVT or intelligent variable transmission, basically a CVT transmission. Front-wheel drive is the only configuration you can get on all 5 trims combined, which can be a con because when you get into the GT Turbo, it's still a carryover. It's a 1.6 turbocharged engine with 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. It's just they also tune the rear suspension to have a sport tuned suspension, and it's a multi-link. When you get into the base trims, the LX, LXS, and the EX, it's going to be a Torsen beam. All trims will have a McPherson strut front suspension, and going into the LX, LXS, and EX, it's going to achieve 29 mpgs for the city with 39 mpgs for the highway. So you get the styling elements and you get the gas consumption, which is a pro for me because now it's an economical vehicle. It hasn't really increased price from the Forte, and this is 0.8 inches more in a wheelbase and 2.3 inches longer than the Forte, making this the best in class leg space in the rear. So think about Honda and Toyota. Now you may want to think about Kia. 16-inch steel wheel covers will be on the LX. The LXS gives us these gray 16-inch wheels. 17-inch goes into the EX and 18-inch goes into the GT. The LXS is going to add the blind spot collision avoidance assist, rear cross traffic avoidance assist with safe exit. So each tier adds more safety features, and going into the top tier gives you a 360-degree reverse camera. And it's going to integrate blind spot view monitoring, which uses the cameras that's on the side view mirror. So when you use your indicators, left or right, those cameras will project on the 12.3 gauge cluster, so you don't have to look pretty much anywhere except for forward, making it a lot more safe than any vehicle in its class. And if you're considering that GT Turbo, it's around 30 grand all in. Comparing it to the Forte from last year with the same power option, it would be around 26 all in. So around a $4,000 increase for that trim. But when you're going into this line, you're only talking to maybe $1 grand more to get more standard features and more safety features. Plus, it's 2.1 inches wider than the Forte, which I'm sure you've seen multiple Forte reviews in my channel. One issue that I had is the width was a little tight. This is going to open up the interior. You're losing some cargo because this is a sedan. It should be a hatch. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that, because for me, the designing looks like a Stinger, just a little bit cut off in this perimeter here. And then the door handle being on the window trim area, I'm okay with it because the design that comes into the back. But if they would have added maybe an inch or so more, I think the design would have been polished a little bit better for this rear area. The lower gets the satin aluminum, and going into the GT Turbo, you're going to have the exhaust that's exposed and it's going to look more performance driven, but you still have that style element here. Now going from the base LX, you can only option 3 color trims. So black, white, silver. Going into the LXS adds 4 more colors, which carries over into the EX. Adds steel gray, current red, deep sea blue, and morning haze. Going into the EX, it adds more color configuration for the interior because the LX and LXS, you can only get 1 color option, which is definitely a con to me because nowadays they've just made the cars very simplified with the color on the exterior and interior, just giving us kind of regular colors. I like it to be a little bit more sporty and hip. That's another reason why I would probably tick the box for the LXS if I was going into this trim level. Quick release going into 14.6 cubic feet of storage. It is a wide opening. Underneath the floor gets a spare tire, and you can split fold the rear bench by pulling the tabs, and that will maximize the cargo capacity to the new K4. 6-way manual seat adjustment for the driver and passenger. Cloth seats, premium cloth goes into the EX. And the whole interior is going to be new because this is replacing the Forte, so you can already see a lot more storage nooks found everywhere. Headroom, not going to be an issue. It does kind of go downwards here where the grab handle is, but it's not to be any type of problem. Leg space, it's actually pretty good. It's somewhat of a driver-focused setup, but it keeps a flat one-panel, two-screen layout. Let's fire it up. And what you're noticing is the technology has been massively improved with standard wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM AM FM streaming, Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, you get a reverse camera, trajectory expands, click the sub menu, and you'll have different camera layouts to make it a little bit easy. You have to go into the turbo in order to get a 360-degree reverse camera, as well as blind spot view monitoring, which when you use your indicators, it'll show you here on a 12.3 display. You can get the 12.3 display on the EX. Otherwise, this is a 4-inch driver digital cluster that can go through an array of content. The 2-spoke steering wheel can be leatherette. When you go into the EX, it's multi-function, and you have the driver modes right here, which you have sport and normal. And you also get that leatherette right here with USB ports, 12 volt. Wireless charging pad is only on the EX, and the key fob for the K4. You have auto hold, which is awesome, because when you come to a stoplight, you don't have to hold the brake all the time. Sport pedals will be on the GT line and the GT Turbo. And when you come to that stop, this will engage the stop. All you have to do is push the actual gas pedal. Push here, and now you have cup holders. Otherwise, you have a large storage bin. This is pushback, but it's soft and it's about a medium size. 4 speakers is standard. 6 speakers start on this trim going into the EX. A moonroof will go into the EX. Standard, manual, and the dashboard door panel configuring together nicely. The air vents are tucked underneath, so it keeps the Elantra style, but you don't have the wall that separates the driver and passenger or a curved screen. So I kind of like this configuration a little bit better. Plus, we have physical buttons for the infotainment screen as well as the climate control, so you don't have to use every single thing through this infotainment screen. Door panel is going to have hard materials everywhere except where it needs to be. It's soft to touch. One touch up and down for all the windows is only on the EX with a long storage pocket. And to open the trunk and your gas, you just pull these tabs. For the back, the door handle's there. Look at the opening that you have to fit 3 more occupants with 2 USB ports, a little storage bin, no storage behind any of the front seats or a cup or armrest that will be in the center. Headroom is actually really good, but the Forte wasn't bad either. The leg space is where it's at because this is one of the best in class for backseat occupants. Door panel, it's going to have the same materials that's found in the front, so it's soft where it needs to be, just a little bit smaller of a storage pocket. Sliding into the center, the floor isn't flat, so you're going to share a little bit of feet space. Butt, leg, and shoulder space is not going to be an issue. The bolstering on the seat pushes forward, making headroom a little bit less, but it's still doable. We're going to switch it into sport mode, and let's give her a go. It's an IVT transmission. I mean, it's a CVT, so I don't care how you word it. It's not going to be something for performance with 147 horsepower. The nice thing here, though, is you're getting great MPGs. It's longer, it's wider. It gives you a little bit more space in the interior, giving it the best in class for rear leg room. And it actually goes into trims of vehicles that it doesn't even go against, like the Camry, like the Accord, in the sense of all the features that you're getting, because let's face it, if you go into the Corolla or the Civic, it's going to push you into those tier to get something that's standard here. That's how much savings that you're getting right off the bat. Now, do I like this better than the Forte? I thought the Forte was an awesome vehicle because it was under 26 grand all in for the GT, and you get all the features for the price that you're getting for the LXS. So you're seeing the price that has increased. The problem that I have is the IVT or CVT transmission and the suspension layout. You have to go up to the GT in order to get a non-CVT and to get a sport tuned suspension. I'm not saying throw a sport tuned suspension, but I'm saying maybe get rid of the Torsen beam. Overall value though, it's hard to really complain because it's hard to get a vehicle that's under 26 grand with this many features. And if you go into the EX, you basically unlock everything that you need for a practical family car. Only reason why you would go up into the GT is because you're wanting that turbocharged engine and that performance, because otherwise this is the way to go. I mean, this is the mid-grade trim. You get decent sized wheels, Torsen beam rear, so it's going to be a little bit more smooth, but it's not going to be dynamic like the multi-link sport rear suspension on the GT Turbo. But again, I'm not expecting that. And when I go that route, I'm in the $30,000 margin. It's still an awesome deal because think about this. A Toyota Camry SE is around 32 to 35 grand. You're getting this fully loaded and it's going to be faster. You're not going to get the MPGs because it's not a hybrid, but you're getting more actual specs in the interior and on the exterior. That's what I mean by what they've done with the K4 is crazy. As for cars that it competes against, the Corolla and the Civic, both of them are going to be near $30,000 price. So you're already seeing the savings trickle in. Going against the Accord, you literally have to pay about 35 to 40 grand to get features that you would get similar to the GT Turbo, and it's going to be slow because it's a hybrid variant. And you have to go trim base in order to get all the features. Here, you could still tick the box for actual features. You also have physical buttons, so you don't have to use everything through the infotainment screen. There's a lot of pros. But on the cons, it starts going into the $30,000 price a little bit quickly when you get into the GT Turbo. As for interior comfort, whether you're sitting in the front or the back, it's comfortable. I wish it had cushion extensions. My knees are somewhat in the air, not as much as a Camry or a Corolla, because the Corolla seats are tight. Maneuverability, you can go in and out of lanes without any issues. You can hear the safety features whenever I just mashed on the gas, and it doesn't feel wide in the lanes. So it's ticking the box for an everyday vehicle, yet giving a little bit of that 21st century vibe, cleaning up the bits that the Forte needed for an upgrade refresh and keeping all of the important essence. So literally it's like getting a coffee and you're like, it's too bitter, add some sugar to it, add some fluff, and it makes it a nice cappuccino. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Regal Kia for giving us the all-new 2025 Kia K4 LXS for our car review.